let's go.
Well, I noticed that immediately, yeah.
Okay.
We're in the zone, aren't we?
Nice camera action. So swinging. So the idea behind this is to relax the shoulders and to do as little as possible with the arms. So what this does is to release tension from the neck, from the shoulders, from the jaw. And it puts the driving energy into the body. So the knees are pulsing, the hips are pulsing, and your breathing starts to become freer. So it does help to free up the diaphragm area. So you can make noises as well. So don't make too many noises. And this in itself can just be really, really freeing and really liberating. Smile. So what we say about the smiling bit is you don't have to feel like you want to smile. You can just be inauthentic and just smile. And see what happens even if you don't feel like it. Just smile. Release the back of your neck. As though your personal trainer had their nice warm cradling hands lifting the top of your head and a feeling of the spine lengthening. And then you can cross over the wrist, cross over the elbows, just to give a bit more of an inward rotation. So this is like the warm-up phase. So basically 3 stages to the Qigong. So we have the kind of more formal movements. So the first bit is swinging the arms, shaking, do a bit of shaking in a minute. And back to, and then using this rotation effect. So stay with the energy coming from the hips and the knees, but see if you can do this. It's quite difficult to rotate backwards. It's like this. So it doesn't matter if you don't get quite round with the palm, but if you can face upwards, what you're getting is more of a deeper opening into the shoulders. This can be incredibly energizing. You might wake up feeling you hadn't had enough sleep, and then when you do this, kind of just everything starts to rev up. So we're opening up some energy gates in the shoulders nest area. This is the lung meridian here. So, and allow the breath to deepen. Good. And then just turn the body off and let the arms just come to a rest. Knocking at the door of life. Wider stance, weight into the front of the feet. And then start by moving the hips and leaving the arms where they are. So kind of folding into the groin. And then the twist works its way up through the body. And there's a sense of the thoracic spine twisting as well, and then the neck twist. So it's like this, the hips lead the twist, and then the twist moves up. And then the backs of the hands can tap the body in different places. So you might feel a certain part of your body needs a bit of attention. Just give it a friendly slap. A nice friendly slap. I'm just looking at the socks today. Very nice. So you can have bare feet. Bare feet are fine. You can have trainers if you need foot support. You can have boring socks. You can have interesting socks. So this keeps the spine nice and healthy, and then again turn the hips off. Lovely, yeah, brilliant. Let's go into some shaking. So not something we normally do very much, but start by shaking the hands. So imagine we are releasing tension from the knuckles, from the palms, from beneath between the fingers. So feel like there's a lot of smoke coming out of your hands. So the smoke could come from anywhere in the body, but channeled out through the hands. So we're using sort of visualization here, which might sound, some of it might sound slightly odd. And then let the whole body begin to shake. So we're opening up the joints of the body, opening up the shoulders, the neck, the hips, the knees. And you're allowed to do a bounce on your heels if you know your spine is all right with that. So any spinal injuries, keep the heels down. This can be quite a good thing to do if you've had a bit of an upset or a shock. If you've got a place you can go on your own and just sort of shake it out. So this is what animals do. Animals have a shock, they just go bleh, shake it all out. So this is an unfamiliar movement, slightly embarrassing perhaps. And then using the hip flexors. So you can use your hands to, that's good, yeah? We'll have very open hips in the class this spring. So you can do it without the hands, or you can use your hands to create some traction. So if you're going to do a yoga class and a lot of hip opening work, this will be a good warm-up for that. And then back to standing. Pause, root yourself, feel the soles of your feet on the ground. So our standing Qigong position, standard position is feet parallel, shoulder width apart. Feel the weight even between the heels and the toes. Now, imagine that the heaviness in the body, and not just the body but the mind, is descending. And descending into a network of roots coming from your feet down through the floor, through the room below, through the floor, through the foundations. So we have a sense of heaviness in the mind and body descending, but lightness rising. And by this action, is that getting a bit...
Oh, it's just a draft in my neck.
Oh yeah, okay,
Yeah.
fine, yeah. Just let me know about the
Thank you, Paul.
temperature. So there's a feeling of opening in the body, feeling of finding space in the body. Space under the armpits, quite useful. A kind of widening of the shoulders, shoulder blades move apart. There's a really a feeling of openness in the knees, so we're not locking the knees out. This is very good for the knees. And let the breath be open, let the breath be smooth, let the breath be deep and slow. So we can breathe into the ground, we might do that later on. Let's work on the hips a bit. So place your hands on the hips. So standard, just rotation of the hips. Start with a simple rotation, nothing too salsa-y. And then as we change direction, start to want to move the hips in more like a three-dimensional way. So we are tilting and turning at the same time, really working into the ball and socket joint, also opening up the lumbar spine. So keep breathing as you do this. This can also help to open up the breath. Always be aware of what you're doing with your neck. Very easy to go into this contraction of the neck. So if you've ever done Alexander technique, then you'll know about how the neck can contract and has a knock-on effect on the rest of the body. So the neck is almost like a shorthand for the rest of the body. So we contract the neck and then we end up contracting the spine and then also creating problems in the pelvis. And then back to standing again. And so we do some massage using a relaxed fist. So there's a sort of knocking effect here. So and then you just kind of go all over the body really. So see if you can have a sense of what you're doing with the knocking. So is the knocking on a tender point? Is it on a point that feels, yeah, that's lovely. So we are going all over the body and we are moving around different acupuncture points, acupressure points. And sometimes you find a point that feels particularly strong. If we go down here on the thymus, so this is the immune system. So lung meridian, digestive meridians down here, heart and lung on the inside. So we're sort of waking the whole body up. We could see this is just getting the blood flow, but Qigong literally means energy work. Qi, Q-I, strange way of writing it perhaps. So Qi is the energy of the body, which is adjusted in acupuncture treatment and used in martial arts. So, and then onto the hips. If you do any soft parts of the body, obviously don't go too hard, but any bony bits you can be quite firm, especially on the sacrum. Sacrum's a really good place to hammer away. Again, any injury, just be very careful. Any pain, stop. Absolutely no pain in this practice. Coming down. Quite nice to do the hamstrings. You may have very nice long hamstrings, you may have rubbish hamstrings like me. I think men tend to have short hamstrings and women, or at least less flexible hamstrings. I hate my hamstrings. I shouldn't hate them, I should love them, I should love them and let them expand. I should love bomb my hamstrings. Good. And then standing. Just do a little bit more tapping. So the first stage is swinging, shaking, rubbing, tapping. We haven't done any rubbing yet. And hand swing. Let's do a little bit of tapping on the scalp. So use the tips of the fingers, and again, not being too hard, unless it feels like it's asking to be tapped quite firmly. Right on the crown of the head. Temples, very useful place to tap. Round at the base of the skull. Very sticky area there, back of the head. Again, this can feel quite tingly and waking up the body. Tapping around the jaw. Under the eyes. Onto the collarbone, onto the thymus. We've done that already, but it's quite nice just to do it more delicately. And then rub the hands together. So imagine that the tapping and knocking has sort of, you've pulled off some stagnation from the body, it's in the hands. So you're sort of doing a kind of qi cleansing of the hands, rubbing between the fingers, rubbing the central parts, the fleshy parts, different parts of the palm, rubbing together, squeezing the knuckles, rubbing different parts. You can rub backs of the hands together, palm on back, different combinations. And then do rope burns on the forearms. If you've ever had acupuncture, you're almost certainly going to get needles stuck into your forearm. A lot of very useful points on the forearm. There's a good heart point here. If you ever have a heart attack, press this point here, that will help. Just a reference.
Before dialing 999?
Well, probably, yeah.
So it's,
yeah. So it's there, it's this point here, it's a heart.
Doesn't matter which wrist.
Either wrist, yeah. Anyway, slightly. But you won't ever, if you do Qigong regularly, you'll stay nice and healthy to your mid 110s. If you want to live that long, I don't know, maybe you think I've had enough. Okay. So let's go back to this is called the Wuji position. So the body has this feeling of coherent structure energetically. So we're not kind of falling apart. Everything feels connected to everything else. The legs feel connected to the trunk, the arms feel connected. The head feels connected to the body. So the head-body connection is one of the most problematic connections. And the neck is one of the most problematic parts of the body. Again, a feeling of lifting through the top of the head. Come back to your personal trainer with their warm hands cradling your head. So if that appeals to anybody, that idea. Smile. And the kind of cheesy and a bit slightly kind of bleh kind of idea is that the smile could go around your body. So that just might be too kind of Californian for you. Okay, then we're coming into the movement. So just come up to horizontal. Breathing in, knees bend. There's a lot of nice, quite artistic movement in the wrist here. So the wrist is bending very nicely. So we're opening and closing the wrist, which is also an energy gate. So breathing in, knees bend. So if you can, keep the body vertical. So try not to sway too much to the front or the back as you do this. So this is the first stage. Now, what we perceive is that the air around us, that the feet will get quite congested. So we'll do a bit of decongestion of the feet. So that's quite normal for your feet to feel quite tight. Have the fingers separate. And now feel like the air is treacle. So as we move, it's like a kind of thickness in the air. Okay. Now, from here, just land the hands on the table. Table just below the navel. Weight into the left leg. Put most of the way. And then pivot on the right heel. So with the heels coming round at 45 degrees. And then we're into the bow stance. This is the bow stance. And then doing the same thing but to the side. Now what this does is that it helps that congestion in the feet. So you're getting a nice massage. Breathing in, hands go up, weight to the front, breathing out, coming back. So no matter how many times you've done this and you think, oh, here we go again, see if you can do it with a sort of fresh attitude, as though you've never done it before. Just keep fresh with the practice. Stay in the body. If your mind starts to wander about what we're having for dinner tonight and all that, then think, okay, that's what your mind will do. But this is a sort of meditative practice, but the mind has something to focus on, which is the movement. So it's like meditation, except that you're, rather than using a mantra or the breath as a focus, well, we are sort of using the breath as a focus, but it's also moving up. And then from here we move into we just land the hands down, come onto the back foot, scooping the seat of view of the sky, cross the hands over, doesn't matter which one's on top, and then like scooping handfuls of water, and then going up and then coming onto the back foot, breathing out. Breathing in as you change over the cross. So that's a new instruction. I've decided that's a better way to do it. Cross the hands over. And then change the cross each time. Breathing in as you go up. Breathing out as you come down. Good. Breathing in. And the hands are not going too far back, so I'm not going like this and kind of falling over. Be strong and stable. Well, I heard that. Breathing in. As you come up, breathing out. And then from here we go back. Just land the hands down. Weight into the left leg, pivot to come back. And pausing. So we're going to do the other side, but before we do that, we're doing a little bit more leg work. So again, find that sense of groundedness. Probably the most important concept in Qigong is grounding, that sense of being in communion with the ground, having your feet on the ground. The more grounded we are, the more anxiety can be controlled, this idea of grounding ourselves. Okay, so we're going to send the hands down. And we're going to go into a squat. Let the hands continue to travel into the ground, Now come out, that's it, yeah, and then come up the inside of the leg as far as the navel. And then have the hands facing the ground. Just come round to the side, and then like pushing down, breathing out, and then breathing in, and then we just do these. You're doing your daily 50 squats this way as well, but in a more interesting way, because you're also breathing out into the earth, and then breathing up from the earth. Imagine the hands going down maybe 10 meters into the earth, maybe 20. As you do it, imagine the hands going deeper each time, deeper, deeper, deeper. So imagine almost as a point where the hands can implausibly go into the center of the earth, drawing up nourishment from the ground, maybe water, maybe minerals. Breathing in, drawing it up the inside of the legs, breathing out. So the hands, when they go down, can either be pushing down or they can be gliding down the side of the leg. You can sort of play around with that. Some things in Qigong you can just play around with. Just go breathing out. And then you get to the point where you've had enough squatting. So this time, doing it without, without bending, but doing it more mentally. Breathing in. And there's a slight kind of bending as you do this, but not too much. Feel like you're rubbing strength into your legs. Maybe you're preparing for a marathon and you're just getting the legs in shape. So the knees feel good, the hips feel good, the ankles feel good, the legs feel connected to the spine. Hip flexors in good condition. Breathing in, breathing out. So feel like you're suddenly really melting into the ground. You're feeling this communion with the earth. Breathing in, breathing out. Now imagine that you're not doing this movement, the earth is doing it. So you are being breathed by the earth, you're being moved by the earth. Feel like the earth is doing this. Suddenly the control, the joysticks move to the earth. So you're just responding to what the earth is telling you to do. So the earth in Chinese philosophy is more yin. The sky or heaven, as it's traditionally known, is yang. This interplay of opposites is also part of what goes on in the body in terms of health, balance. Good. And then without moving the hands, just visualize without moving the hands, breathing out down the side of the legs, breathing in up to the, we're moving up to this point here. This is the dantian, it's called, below the navel. Breathing in to the dantian. So it's almost like we're charging ourselves from the earth. It's like the earth is this big battery, reservoir of energy. Feel the soles of the feet making this intimate contact with the ground. Feel like you can hear and feel the earth breathing beneath your feet. Maybe you can hear the heartbeat of the earth. And as you do this, the rest of the body relaxes. The rest of the body opens. Maybe the top of your head starts to feel this connection with the sky. Maybe you can experience some tingling in the body. Maybe there's a feeling of coming home, knowing your place in the order of things. And then release that bit of meditation, just come back to the body standing. And then we're going to go into the other side using that. Just come back to this, moving through treacle movement. Breathing in, breathing out. Just do that one more time and then weight into the right leg, pivot on the left heel, and then do the same thing on the other side. Good. Feel the feet getting a massage. And then from here, moving into the crossing over of the wrists, not touching the wrists as they cross, but just scooping the seated view of the sky. Coming up, looking up, let the hands come down, breathe out. Cross the hands in the other way, across the wrist rather. Like imagine water being scooped up, thrown into the sky, looking up. Relaxing the shoulders, feel those shoulders getting a nice rotation, feel the feet getting a nice massage in the ground. Smile. If he says smile one more time, I'll get really annoyed. Excellent, good. Okay, so, and then just land the hands, pivot round, land the hands on the table. I think it's time to polish the table. Feel like the hands are now linked together. You move one hand, the other hand moves. They say they stay the same distance apart. So now polish the table. So keep the hands as horizontal as you can. So the table is, yeah, good, you're right height there. Table is at the belly button level. And then we do it like a figure of 8. So you can do a figure of 8 like this, or you could, the actual movements of the body are up to you. So you can kind of go from one leg to another, do a bit more of a free, expressive movement with the body. You can now make your non-dominant hand lead. The dominant hand is just being pulled and pushed by the non-dominant hand. So have that familiar feeling that the non-dominant hand is actually leading the movement and the other hand is just tagging along. How does the dominant hand feel about that? Perhaps quite good to have a day off. Now, am I going to give the dominant hand a chance to lead? No, I'm not. It's tough. So this is where the hands are completely unified, but we can do the opposite sort of movement where the hands are like, I'm trying to think of the right word, sort of pushing each other away. So land the hands back into this position here, and now take your right hand and place it above. So the other, one hand's at the groin level, the left hand's at the groin level, right hand at the head level. On video this will be the wrong way around, but don't worry. Okay, now what happens is that as the hand comes down the central line of the body, it pushes the other hand out of the way. So the hands are now sort of slightly magnetically repelled by each other in a nice way, like playfully avoiding each other, like a marriage. That relates, not working actually. No, I'm joking, seriously. So feel this feeling like the hand that's coming down, it's pushing the other hand out of the way, but it's all playful, nice. No codependency here. And then we can do it in a slightly different way. So I just let come back with the right hand on top. So what we were doing is reinforcing the central line of the body. Now this time, as you come down, let the other hand come, just for the camera, come away from you. So you're going around a big circle, staying in the central line of the body. So make sure the hand, then my hands got a bit close, they shouldn't do that. So stay with the hands nicely separated. So just feel this playful repulsion. Good. Then I'm going to do another variation on this. So it's good to, whatever you need to do at any point, if you need to sort of relax the shoulders or stop. Now, next time the right hand is up the top. So I'm going to use the sword finger gesture. So this is the sword finger gesture. So 2 fingers stuck together, and then the thumb is on the ring finger and little finger. So this is when you use a sword in Qigong, you adopt this hand. This is the left hand gesture, but have both hands. So this has quite a pointy kind of, it's a sword, it's pointy, kind of pointy energy to it, but it's good. Then do the same thing, but when the hand gets down, point it to the ground. So it's like and then it's like you're clearing the spine. Anything in the spine that feels congested or tight. So we just pause in this position here. So feel like there's a kind of vertical line going down through your body. Coming down, up and away, other side. Staying in this circular motion. Good. Excellent. So really, it's important that you're right in the center of the body here. So this is in sort of meditative terms, it's about coming back into your spine. It's about refinding your center, using the spine as a point of reference, and then release the hands, come back, and then let's just do some refreshment. Shake the hands, rub the hands. So I'll go into the healing form now. So this is an extension of the leg movement we were doing earlier on. So back to that standard position, standing tall, feeling the head rising out of the shoulders, feel the shoulders widening, feel the hips widening, feel the rib cage lifting slightly away from the hips, as though there were lots of space in your body. Sometimes the body feels tight and congested and something rubbing up against something else, but see if we can have that feeling of space in the body, spaciousness. So in meditative terms, we often talk about the spaciousness of consciousness, spaciousness of the mind. So if we can allow the body to be spacious, the mind becomes easier for the mind to feel spacious. It's almost like our awareness as an opening. So bring the hands, backs of the hands in that just friendly, not touching, but almost wanting to touch, but not quite sure about it. And then drawing up from the ground, this time getting as far as the chest, and then turning the fingers in, keeping the elbows, so not touching the body. And then this sense of opening up the chest, the lungs and the heart benefiting from this feeling of space. And then hands slightly in front of the body, drop the shoulders, smile. Hands go to the horizon. Hands travel up. You can also sort of look as well, but don't crunch the neck. And then the hands getting to the point where they feel that the head's in the way of the hands. So see if you can just allow the shoulders not to rise too much. And then it's like you're grabbing that clarity of the sky and then descending it down without touching the body, a fist distance away from the body, gliding it over. Come down the front of the body with the fingers pointing slightly into the spine. Come under the rib cage, and then hands over the kidneys. Say hello to the kidneys. trace either side of the spine to the tailbone. Connect the tips of the fingers to the tailbone, come round, and then just hover the hands over the hips. Feel like the hips have disappeared. Feel like the hands are touching. Push one hand, the other hand moves, flossing the hips. Feel like anything in the hips that feels wrong, feels difficult, feels injured, feel like clearing some of it out. And then we're going to send the hands mentally down the side of the legs. Again, going into the earth, as we did before, and then drawing up from the ground. And then doing this as one continual movement. Now the breathing pattern is simply how it comes. It doesn't have to be synchronized with any particular section of the movement. So this is called the healing form. And this is your go-to movement if you're feeling, well, it just keeps you healthy, this movement. It integrates the body. If you're feeling under the weather, it can often be quite a good boost. You can do this sitting down, you can do this lying down, you can do this mentally in your head. Once you get the hang of it. So it's like the hands are gliding over the body. And then from here we can go into all sorts of different movements. So I'm going to go into the loom of heaven in a minute. So this is a sort of weaving threads. So we consider the threads to be the different threads in our lives. We don't have to think too hard about it, but you can think of the continuity of our existence, the themes, the beliefs, the connections, the friendships, the family. Sort of idea of our life being a sort of tapestry of threads. And this is a way of kind of clarifying the threads. Just stay with this moment. Okay, so next time the hands are outstretched, leave them outstretched. If you can, allow the hands to have this floaty feeling. So this can be a bit challenging. So the first thread is you're going to use hand gestures to pull the threads down through the body. Thumb and forefinger, left hand joined together, point down. And then the right hand comes up, center line of the body, and it finds a thread, and forefinger and thumb pull the thread down quite close to the body. Like pulling a thread, that thread, that's that one. Release the fingers, come back up. Change over, middle finger and thumb, middle finger and thumb, pulls a thread, finds the thread, pulls it down. And you don't have to know what the threads are, you don't have to visualize it. You release, change over, ring finger. So if you've done yoga, you know that there are different mudras in yoga. It's very similar in Qigong. Different symbolism attached to different hand movements in the little finger. Good. And feel like you're pulling as well. And then we come down here and just going to refresh the shoulders. A bit of rolling. And now we're going to, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, so feel free, always feel free to just come off the feet. If you feel aching in your feet, it's probably a good sign that you're really grounding. So, okay, left hand, join all the thumb and the fingers together, point down. So this time we're going to pull a thread down using all the fingers. And feel this is quite a resistant thread, like you're having to sort of pull quite hard. Good. Coming down, coming down, coming down. And then keep the fingers together. So from here, just hold this position. And now weaving the threads. Release the fingers, come into a horse stance. So the horse stance is wider, pelvis tends to tip forward more. stay in this position, just feel the strength of this position. So we're going to go back to this gesture, but this time the hands are not going to stop at the chest, but move straight up through the top of the body. We'll just do a few of these to start with, like a fountain coming out on top of your head. I'm pausing, yeah, sorry, I didn't tell you to stop doing it. And then find this really wide, expansive gesture, like here I am, I'm taking up space, too bad if you don't like it. And then floating down, and then just do a few of these, like water coming through the body, cleansing the body, and then this time continue on. And then sort of slightly mixing the metaphors here. Next time bringing the hands up. And this time the palms face forwards. And then there's a feeling of weaving like in a, what's that snake thing called? Caduceus, is it? And then coming up and then like weaving a new tapestry, using existing threads, using new threads, but weaving a new fabric. Coming up, just do that one more time. Okay, and then from here, just have the hands just kind of weaving at the bottom a bit. And then pausing, and now feeling of strength, and that you want to do something with the power and strength. Hopefully there's a feeling of quite a lot of power in the belly now, so we can use a more yang kind of approach, a sort of slow motion punching. So do a sort of gathering motion with the hands. So the hands are going to come up to the waist and then form into a fist. And then rest the fist on the hips. Look straight ahead and then slow motion, breathing out, spiral forwards. Breathing in, come back. Feel like you're smashing through some block. You can visualize a brick wall that you don't like, or a block of concrete. You can imagine it's some obstacle in your life that's in the way. You're looking beyond the obstacle to something you want to achieve. This is in your way. This is a block, an obstacle to your movement. Breathing out. The spiral has this effect of being quite powerful. It's like a drill going through this block. Good. Excellent. And then pausing here. Just refresh the feel of it. And then from here, release the fist. Coming up, this time coming up to the chest. And now in this position, hands go outwards, pushing the pillars. So, and this time imagine pushing two pillars apart. Again, this might feel like some kind of constraint that's in your life, that you haven't got enough space. Breathing out, breathing in. So you really feel like you're pushing against quite a strong resistance here. So this is like weightlifting without weights. Good. And then we can do the same thing in front of the body. Just pause here, come round, and then draw the. Now we can use this also as a metaphor for the immune system. So we imagine this is our protective bubble around us, our immune system, pushing away viruses. And then coming from here, pause, come round, and then lifting the sky. So this is really kind of weightlifting stuff. Come up, keep traveling up, turn the palms to face the sky, and the knees, lift. Do that 3 times. And then bring the hands down. And then bone marrow cleansing. So this is a very powerful self-healing technique. So we'll come back to our table. Feel the connection between the hands. Just go up on your right hand side, down on your left. So if you're watching this on video, it's not going to, I think it might be backwards. So go up on the right, down on the left. As though you're travelling around a large board. Okay, and then come back to the circle, come back to the table, point the hands in, and now this time the hands are free of each other, like polishing a large ball. So imagine a beautiful ball, polishing it. And now this time when the hands are up, pause the hands and then push down. Like pushing a ball down into water. Let the ball go, release the hands, the ball pops up, push it down. One more time like this, feel like a lot of resistance from the ball. Breathing out, come down. So hover with the hands up. Now the next action is for the hands to go inside the body, like scan the body. Find areas of tension, illness, injury. Push everything down into the soles of the feet. Come out. Hands can be slightly different widths apart, so you can be wide, you can be one on top of another, you can go, if you have a spinal problem, it's quite nice to place the hands one on top of another. So feel like the soles of the feet are becoming very sticky and tight. Like all that waste from your body is going down into the soles of the feet. So this may be cleansing, maybe 5% cleansing, 10%, maybe more. Just like that. Side of the body, front of the body. And then there's a real feeling of the feet not being able to move. Stuck in this quagmire of your own filth. Doesn't sound very nice, does it? You know what I mean? Stuff you want to get rid of, stuff that shouldn't be there, stuff that's maybe been with you for a long time. And then place the hands on our lovely table. Feel like the feet can't move, feel like the hands are going to have to help the feet out a bit. Invisible threads between the left foot and the right hand. Left hand and the right foot have invisible threads. And then as one hand rises, it pulls the foot cleanly out of the swamp. And then you take a little step forward, if you can land quite softly. And then have that feeling of leaving behind the footprints. And then just, I'm feeling a bit cleansed. I've left some of that stuff behind. Smile. And breathe. Slow, smooth, even, deep, whole body breathing. Breathing through the feet, breathing through the knees, breathing through the shoulders. Breathing through the top of the head, breathing through the perineum. The whole body breathing. Breathing in the beauty of May, breathing in all the blossom. Breathing out all the kind of stuffiness in the body. Breathing in the roses, which are about to appear in great multitudes. Okay, and then the last final bit, holding the ball. Now with holding the ball, we imagine a big ball in front of us, resting on the inside of the arms, against the chest. If you can, imagine that the shoulders are nice and relaxed and that the arms are hollow. Let the ball, as you breathe, feel like the ball wants to expand wide, wide, wide. large ball in front of you. Bring the hands down, but still imagine a large ball in front of you. Be aware of the back of the neck again. Let the ball move over your body, so you're inside the ball. Turn the palms to face outwards, and then using the palms to perceive the physical boundary of the ball. So this ball acting as a protection against viruses, illness, an extension of the body's own self-healing immune